Hi there, welcome along to another workout for you to row along to. It's week 5, session 2 of the 500 meter training plan, and that means it's a bottom tier row. Now, rather than going for a 30 minutes at 20 strokes per minute workout, I'm going for a 33 minute at 20 strokes per minute. Now, if you're going to do this at a 2k training pace, then pick around about 2k plus 18 to 20. If you want to do this with a heart rate zone, then I suggest either using the Maffetone system, which is 180 minus your age, or pick a range between 65 and 75% of your maximum heart rate. And then keep that as a cap, and then that will let you refine your engine and kind of build up the fuel that you've got inside your system for the tougher rows. So as being this is a relatively simple workout today, we'll just do a 4-minute warm-up. So let's start off by setting up our machine. Go to drag factor first. If you don't know anything about drag factor, please check out the video on my website or on the YouTube channel. Next up, go to the monitor and set it at eye height so you don't have to look up and you don't have to look down. And then finally, the foot strap should cover the bottom lace in your shoe, or if you're in socks like me, should let you bend comfortably forwards at the front of the stroke. So 18 strokes a minute at a nice gentle pace, please. In 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. And I mean gentle, don't worry about any of the 2k pace stuff. I just want your body to get moving. So enough that you're connecting with your legs at the front, enough that your power is coming through to the flywheel, so you have to engage with your arms as well. But I don't want you to worry about speed for this first minute. The whole point of a warm-up is to ease your body into it, just in case the muscles are needing to be woken up, in case your heart needs to kind of get up into second gear and pump a little harder. So we don't need to worry about power or flexibility yet. That said, a minute into this now, let's start thinking at least about how the power is getting generated. Are you making sure to push the machine away with your legs? Just putting a good solid shove. Nice straight arms to let that power come through as you push with the legs. But do remember that as much as this is constantly described as a push with the legs motion rather than a pull with the arms, you do still need to pull with the arms. So once you get towards the back of the stroke, pull in. It's really easy to get so caught up in this leg drive that you do forget about the arms. Right, 3 more strokes. 1 more stroke, and then we'll take 1 foot out of the foot straps, put it on the floor, continue rowing. Try to find a comfortable position for it so that you're not off balance. Maybe just rock to the balls of your foot and back to your heels, or, well, singular, but get what I mean. And a good push with a leg that's still strapped in. 1 more stroke. Let's swap legs or feet. Continue rowing. Should find that this is helping with flexibility at the front of the stroke, because there's only 1 leg to compress, 1 hip flexor to worry about. And maybe you're getting more of a smooth push out from that 1 leg as well. 1 more stroke. Both feet in, legs straight, and just use your back and your arms to continue rowing. Now, if you want to put a small bend to your knees just to stop them locking up, that's fine. That's what I do. But I don't want you to be generating any power from your legs here. This is all about the rock over your hips and the pull in with your arms and the push away of your arms again. 1 more. Now let's roll to the front and drive out with straight arms. So keep those arms straight, and just push out. Don't have to go too far. This is more about the timing of the catch of the flywheel. But at the same time, don't slump down. Try and keep the handle at a nice neutral height. 2 more. 1 more. There we go. Not the most complicated of warm-ups, but then again, today's not the most complicated of rows. So anyway, have a quick drink, keep on moving up and down the rail, and I'll explain one more time what it is we're doing today. Okay then, so today's row is just a simple 33 minutes at 20 strokes per minute. Your pace, if you're going for a 2K based training pace, will be around about 2K plus 18 to 20, or your pace, if you're using a heart rate cap, will keep you at either the Maffetone system, which is 180 minus your age, or between 65 and 75% of your maximum heart rate. Now for the heart rate cap people, I still recommend starting off round about that 2K plus 18 to 20, but then keep an eye on your heart rate, and if you start to kind of exceed that cap, then back off the pace a little bit. The point here for the heart rate cap people isn't to try and get up to your point instantly. Let your heart rate drift up to there and be controlled, and then back off if you need to, okay? Right, so, might as well just get into this. It's just a straight 33. I'll keep you company, I'll give you some tips, talk to you, all that stuff. Got 33 minutes together. What can I talk about today? Let's go then. 20 strokes per minute in 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm going to be aiming for round about 203 to 205 as I start this. I want to see how soon or how long it takes for me to drift up to there. I'm at 82 right now, so I know that the erg zone display at the bottom just gives you a percentage, so it's all very good me giving you numbers. But it is a good way to control. I think having got to this week 5 part of the plan, I think I do prefer a 2K training pace. I think I prefer the consistency of just putting the same amount of power in all the way through. But again, I've only given this a 5-week test, so. But I think I'm more likely, as we come out the other end of this 500 meter training plan, and I'm going to spend most of December doing long, slow rows, I think I'll probably head back to a 2K training pace for that. So we'll be holding 2K plus 18 for a row like this. So we're almost 2 minutes into this, hopefully after the warm-up, and then this 2 minutes at a slightly elevated pace. You should be nice and warm, I hope. Remember to breathe. Breathing pattern on a rate like this, it's kind of up to you. I mean, it's 1 stroke every 3 seconds, so I think 1 breath per stroke. You might get tired quite quickly. So then it comes down to, do you breathe in as you drive, or do you breathe out as you drive? Now, I like both, but what I prefer about breathing out as I drive is the amount of time it gives me to breathe in again on the recovery. So basically I get breathe out through the drive, and then in, out. So anyway, there is a body mechanics point of view that if you breathe in as you drive, because you're opening your rib cage, you should be able to accept more power, but that's only useful if you can carry on breathing and keep the oxygen flow and carbon dioxide removal going. If it completely disturbs your breathing pattern, then there's not much point to it. So 33 minutes, it's not as random as you might expect. I was toying with whether this session should be 3 times 11 minutes. But then it's quite easy to get used to always having a break. So like doing a 40-minute row, it's 4 times 10 minutes that you don't really develop the mental fortitude to actually row constantly for 40 minutes if you're constantly stopping for a break. Now what you really want to do is a straight 40-minute row, but in your head you just make it 10 minutes times 4 without rests, of course. And that way you're not looking at 40 minutes as this big hurdle you have to overcome. But the value of a consistent, constant row versus one that's broken up with rests is a topic of quite a lot of discussion. And most people do seem to agree that if it was a choice of this 33-minute row or 3 11-minute intervals with like 1 minute rest, this 33 is actually more beneficial when it comes to building your engine and things, so that's why we're doing it today. And I could easily just have said 30 minutes instead of the 33, but I'd already got it in my head that it would be 33 minutes worth of rowing today, so I'm a bit headstrong that way. Once I get something in my head, kind of want to stick to it. A real creature of habit that way. Which is a good thing and a bad thing. What it does mean is that on the one hand, I'm quite happy to eat the same lunch every day because I'm a creature of habit. But on the other hand, it means things like opinions that you make about things tend to stick around. Like songs that you don't like, or people that irritate you once and then they're like dead to you forever. So what I've taken to doing is every once in a while, when one of those things that I believe in pops along, I'll try to analyze it again, research it, see if it still holds true, Have I changed my mind about someone? Is that song that always irritated me, do I no longer find it irritating? It's kind of important, because it means you don't close your mind off to other opportunities or other skills or other ways of thinking or training. See, I can pull it back to rowing. I mean, I never used to really put any thought to heart rate based training, but now I've spent the past 5 weeks doing this, and my little Whoop strap now tells me my recovery and all that stuff based on my heart rate. But then maybe I'm just looking for a crutch, something to hang my hat on and follow and blame when things don't go right. Not that I'm a real blamer, but I'll fixate on things. Like if the seat doesn't feel right or the chain doesn't feel right. And I'll just, I don't know, it's always for me the mental side that's the most fragile part of my entire system. I think the more you push yourself to perform, the stronger your mind needs to be. So as you're building up your body to do more, you do have to spend some time thinking about your headspace. And are you preparing for an element of, well, I want to say suffering, but that makes it sound too harsh. I mean, in a 2K race, or even a 500 race, there is a certain point where that discomfort really does become quite strong. You start thinking, can I go on? Do I want to go on? But that's where a lot of the fast training comes in. Even the Tabata. There's a certain point in each of the intervals where you start to think, I can't go as fast as this. Now, you know it's easy to just ease off 1 or 2 seconds pace and everything will feel a lot better. But you then have to think, why have I spent all this time training to be more powerful, to be faster, if when it comes to it, when the cookies are laid out in front of you, if you don't have the brain power, or brain fortitude, more like, to carry on rowing, then you could be the strongest person in the world, but you're not going to get anywhere if you give up 3 minutes into a 4-minute race or something. There's ways to train it, there's ways to modify your thinking and whatever, but a lot of it is just time spent on the rowing machine, learning how your body feels as you approach those hardship points. So you know whether you can push through or not. And then when you're in the middle of a race, and that question is asked of you, you basically dig into your mental journal of rows and go, oh, I remember feeling like this during Tabata, and actually I was able to keep going. Should keep going. Or the flip side is on longer rows like this, where it's easy to look at the counter of 33 minutes and think, by heck, that's a long time on a rowing machine. But if you think that way, you're kind of almost going to stop before you start. It's the same, I think for me, once you get over the 40-minute mark, that's when I start to think, that's quite a long time. So, like an hour, when you see a full hour up on the clock, if you're not done one for a while, it's quite easy to think, oof, a whole hour. Or a half marathon where you see 21,097 meters up there. You start to think, hang on, that's like 4 or 5 Ks and a bit. How am I going to get on with that? So this is why you're always best to break it into chunks, even if you're not stopping in between. Take these longer rows and break them into chunks. So this could easily be, in your head, 3 11-minute rows, or if you're really unsure, 11 3-minute rows. And that way you can even break it into, like, do 3 minutes at 2k plus 20, then 3 minutes at 2k plus 18, then back off to 20, and then 18, and whatever. Just add a little bit of variation. It's the same reason I often throw in the odd power stroke routine. It's just variation, break things up, because you do, if there's a power stroke at the end of every 1 minute, you only ever really look as far forward as that 1 minute. So between doing things like that on constant stroke rate pieces, or mixing up the stroke rate, like going between 18, 20, 24, doing it as like a ladder or whatever. These are all the things that keep you mentally connected to what you're doing. Which again, is kind of part of the reason why I make these videos, is it doesn't particularly matter, I don't think, what I'm wittering away about for these rows. It's that kind of grounding and connection to what you're doing, and the fact that you're listening to it and following the meanderings of the mind of a man on a rowing machine, whether you care or not where I end up. Just the fact that you're following what I'm talking about hopefully means that as we pass the 15 minutes to go mark, you suddenly realise you've been rowing for 18 minutes. And does it feel like 18 minutes? Doesn't for me. I'd say maybe 10. Which actually is part of the other good reason to do 33. It's because those 3 minutes are kind of throwaway and then you face into a half hour. But it means you get to sneak in an extra 3 minutes worth of work. And no matter whether you're rowing a session like this to try and be faster, or whether you're doing it to get fitter, or even you're looking at a long, slow row like this as a fat burning row, then duration's king here, which again is why after this 500 meter plan I'm going to go into some longer slow rows instead of piling in a bunch of fast ones. So 20 minutes almost gone. Hopefully I've put you in a trance of perfect rowing by listening to me and watching me for the past 20 minutes. But just in case, let's do our usual checklist, as fatigue might start to set in a little bit. It's a great time to just think about body positions and posture and how smooth you're rowing. Now remember, at 20 strokes a minute, kind of the rhythm you want is 1 second push, 2 seconds recover. So you're really pushing out with the legs, a nice recover. It's not like a 1-to-1 ratio where it's like a second and a half either way. I want you to drive a nice slow recovery. Because in order to do that, you do have to engage fully at the front of the stroke. And by engage, I mean pressing or pushing with the legs, with a braced core, straight arms, and a forward lean to let the power flow through. If you start to slacken off any of that, you don't really get the full amount of a power push from your legs. If you kind of go weak and limp at the front, you're not going to get that 1 second back and a 2 second recovery. Because let's face it, we're rowing for 33 minutes in total today, and if you do what I'm saying, you're actually only rowing for 11 minutes. The other 22 minutes are spent recovering, sliding down the rail. That's a bit of a mind blower, isn't it? But you didn't think about it that way when you came on today, that you'll be resting for 22 minutes. But that's only the case if, for a start, you get that quick drive and then all your body angles are in the right place so that your recovery is a recovery. And the important part for that is your posture and how to hold your posture. So at the front of the machine, I want your body to be leaning slightly forwards, and importantly, up on your sit bones. Okay? So you're up and primed, hips tilted forwards, ready for the stroke. What I don't want is for you to have your hips tucked under so that your hips are tilted backwards. Okay? Because that will not help with power transfer or efficiency of recovery. Basically, if you have your hips tilted backwards on the recovery, you're only really recovering for about half a second of that slide, rather than the full 2 seconds that I have. And that's mostly because you have to pull yourself forwards with the feet and your lower back. So you're pulling and wrenching. Whereas when I do it, the only muscles really I'm using are the ones to get the handle out in front of me and then to bend my knees. And part of the problem with that is yanking on the foot straps with your feet at the end of the stroke. So you get to the back, you collapse your lower back, and then you pull yourself forward with the foot straps. Bad, bad, bad. But you don't need to. And I can prove it by doing this. Hang on. So it's both my feet out of the foot straps. Promise. No camera trickery. So not only do I not need to pull myself forwards with the foot straps, you'll notice I don't have to stop myself on the leg drive by bracing against the foot straps. Because if that was the case, I'd have flown off the back of the machine by now. So I am still out of foot straps, but because I have a braced posture at the end, and because my leg drive is finished before my backswing and my arms pull in, there isn't really all that momentum that I have to brace against on the foot straps. It's all gone into the flywheel. And that's what you want. You want the power that you're putting in here. You want it all to go in the flywheel. If you have to brace against the foot straps, well, that's power that should have gone into the flywheel. And like I say, if you're pulling on the foot straps, it kind of encourages your hips to sink under. And to be honest, I find it hard to even demonstrate that sunken hip thing when I'm rolling with my feet out the straps. Because there's no way to pull myself forwards and tuck in those hips. Because I get forwards by pushing the handle away and then rocking over my hips. Then you bend your knees. Then you just slide to the front. Like I say, using hardly any muscles. So that's the importance that posture plays in the efficiency of your drive, and also to let you have that long period of recovery in between strokes. Because if you're constantly activating many muscles on both ends of the stroke, you're going to tire out really quickly. And you're likely to cause injury to your hip flexors up here, your quads, and the outside of your shins if you're constantly pulling yourself forwards off the foot straps. Not to mention lower back issues from having your hips rolled back, tucked under. And you know what? There's about, I'd say a good 30% of the reason why I row is vanity. Is that through rowing, I'm in shape mostly. I've got muscles in places I didn't have when I wasn't rowing. I figure I've got, for someone of my frame, relatively toned arms and stuff. And this is all because I'm rowing with a technique that uses the right muscles. So you'll hear people saying that rowing is an all-over body workout. And it is, if you do it right. But if you just tickle up and down, if you yank on the foot straps and tuck yourself under, and if you don't push from the front of the machine with the legs, if you don't keep those arms straight and then pull in, if you don't have that forward lean into the backward lean to then promote that strong finish and your elbows squeezing together, if you don't brace your core at the front of the stroke and then at the back of the stroke, if you don't make sure your entire lumbar region accepts the power up from your legs, through your body, through your arms and into the handle, all of these things, if you're just rocking up and down the rail, not really trying, it's not an all-over body workout. You can see it in the mirror. Put one in front of you and you can see the points when your muscles tighten and flex versus just short strokes and not putting in any power. So, from a vanity point of view, I like rowing with a good technique because it makes me comfortable with my body appearance, helps with me burning fat, so that on the occasion I do have chocolate and cake and wine and beer, it's not that big an impact. Get to do something I enjoy doing to stay fit. I mean, how hard is it to find that? Many people that search their entire life for something they enjoy to stay fit. I'm so glad I found the rowing machine, because as tough as it can be at times, I still just love just rowing backwards and forwards. 2 more strokes. 1 more. Oh. Bit of a lecture-y one towards the end again. I've been going through I think session 5 of week 4 was when I went in properly deep through the entire technique. I didn't really want to do that again today. I thought I'd just pass the time with my other musings on rowing and efficiency and things. Right, let's just do our 2-minute cool down. Oh. In 3, 2, 1, go. Remember, you might not need to cool down after a slow, low heart rate row, but this is about habit forming, so you get used to always doing a cool down. If you're doing any kind of a meter munching challenge, this might be an extra handy 200 meters, or sorry, 500 meters onto your total. Gives you a chance to kind of disengage mentally as well. Just calm down a little bit and move on with your day. Because I mean, there is something mentally taxing, even at 20 strokes a minute, about trying to hold that stroke rate. But watching the counter count down in 3-second chunks and counting the minutes off. So to just poodle through a 2-minute cool down, I think it's quite mentally and physically beneficial. So it was a good row. Hopefully it's got you nicely shored up, like digging a big hole in the ground and putting reinforcements up around it. That's what you've done to your fuel tank today. You made it big and strong and powerful and able to take the amount of fuel that's going to have to pass through it when you do your 500 test. So I'm probably more talking about an engine at this point, aren't I? My analogy is a bit skewed. You get what I mean, don't you? Right, 2 more strokes for me. So session 3 that's coming up next is another top tier, and it's the last full-on top tier one of, well, this whole plan, unless you count the actual test that's on session 5. So I do hope you'll join me for that. It'll be a nice, short, fun one, as long as you find power and intensity fun, of course. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed session 2 of week 5. Make sure to leave comments on the YouTube channel or on the podcast. Subscribe to whatever you need to. If you haven't already checked out ErgMonkey as a way to come back and analyze this data, then please go to ergmonkey.com/John. It's just, the John thing is purely just so they can track how many people I send their way. It's like an ego boost for me, because then they say thank you very much. I don't get anything from it. This isn't a paid promotion thing, just trying to drive you all that way. Because actually what that then means, if you go to ErgMonkey, is this whole monitor setup for the undefined rests thing becomes less of an issue if you then go and analyze your rows in ErgMonkey afterwards. So that's why I'm kind of starting to kind of promote that one underneath. So it's free, and like I say, I don't get anything out of it. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I do have to start putting disclaimers on this now. Oy. So let's have hashtag well, this is session 2, so 3 to go, okay? Hashtag 3 to go, because obviously there's only 3 more sessions and then we are done with the 500 meter plan. I'm talking of done, I'm done today because I've got sweat running in my eyes. I hope you're all well, stay safe, I'll see you in the next one. Oh, bye. Oh.